Alright, it's been a really long time since I've done this, so bear with me. Hey there everybody, this is Robin with Creative2xmom, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my fall reading list. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin and this is Creative2xmom. This channel is all about homeschooling, parenthood, and thriving in the day-to-day. It's been a really long time since I've been able to sit down and film a video for you guys, and I'm going to be sharing with you more next week about sort of what's been going on in my life, a life update, and why I have been so absent from social media lately. But with the turning of the seasons, I wanted to share with you my next reading list. Every season I try to share a video like this one, just telling you the things that I am looking forward to reading. You guys know that I am a book addict. In fact, as soon as this video goes up, I will probably already be seeing books that I want to add to the winter reading list. I tend to go a little crazy. But I think one of my favorite parts about this fall reading list is I'm pretty sure every book in my stack is coming from my local library. So before you rush out and buy any of these books, check your library system first. I think I have my books divided into about 3 different categories. I tend to try to have a fiction and a non-fiction going at the same time, which definitely didn't happen this season. I have a lot more non-fiction heavy, but I have a lot of biographies as well. I've been having a lot of fun reading people's story within the past year. I think other people's stories are so valuable and we can learn a lot from them. So I'm going to kind of count that as my non-fiction because biographies read a lot easier. So we will start with what I would call the homeschooling education group. And a lot of times I save my homeschooling encouraging reads for over the summer as a way of getting ready for the fall. And this summer I was thinking, why do I do that? And there is a purpose behind that, and then it encourages me and gets me ready for a new school year. But I thought, oh, wouldn't that be great if I had that encouragement all year long? So what started out as, oh, the cat is playing with the tripod. Daisy. What started out as I was going to read one educational book throughout the season turned into 3. Like I said, I have a problem with books. And I think everything in my pile today is new except this first one that I'm going to share with you. And that is For the Children's Sake by Susan Schaefer Macaulay. I've already started it and I'm about halfway through. This was one of the first books that I read as far as homeschooling philosophy, I guess you could say, and this was my introduction to Charlotte Mason. And I realized a couple days ago as I was making my list that I had not read this in probably 4 or 5 years, and I thought, oh man, that was such an encouraging read, and it was so life-giving and so revolutionary to our homeschool at the time that I wanted to go back and pick that one up. So I have been reading that one. This is the first one that I thought if I could only read one book in the fall season, this would be it. And I would give you that same encouragement. If you can only read one homeschool book this season, pick this one up. Okay, the next book is called Balanced and Barefoot. This is by Angela J. Haskam. This falls along in line with, what was the book? Oh, The Nature Deficiency. I can't remember the title. I read it in the spring. I will link that video down below. It was very good. But it falls a lot in line with that. Let's see, from the back. We're taking away merry-go-rounds and teeter-totters to keep it safe, and as children's lives become more virtual via TV, smartphones, and computer screens, teachers are noticing a decrease in attention, and doctors are reporting an alarming increase in sensory and emotional disorders. I picked this one up because I was thinking, especially over the last year and a half, how much more further we've gone down that road with our kids. I have one kid that's in public school that has done a lot of virtual learning in the last year and a half. This may be a little young for the stage of life that we are in, but I still wanted to check it out. If it ends up not being applicable, then it'll go by the wayside, but I thought it might be a good one to read. And then the last one, this is a little bit less homeschool and more public school, and I don't even remember who suggested this one to me, but it's Thomas Sowell, S-O-W-E-L-L, Inside American Education. So from the back, we must face up to what educators have actually done and distinguished from what they have said. They have taken our money, betrayed our trust, failed our children, and lied about the failures of inflated grades and pretty words. And it goes on to talk about some of the philosophy behind the public education and what it is designed to do. Now, before you get frustrated with me, I have a teaching degree and I was a public school educator at one time. This, I think for me, is just out of curiosity. Was there something I missed in my education that I'm not aware of? Was there something I missed in my employment that I'm now not aware of? And so I'm curious to see where this goes. This may be one that I don't read the entire thing, and yet there was enough in it that I wanted to at least start it. Okay, a little bit of a lighter topic. I would say lighter topic after that last book, but some of these are pretty heavy. And this is the biography section of books that I was looking into. I have never read anything by Elizabeth Elliot. The name is very familiar. She is Jim Elliot's wife. There was a group of missionaries that were killed in South America several decades ago now, but when the missionaries were killed, the wives went back in and they were actually able to minister to the tribe that killed their husbands. And so Elizabeth Elliot is one of the wives. This is Through the Gates of Splendor by Elizabeth Elliot, and it's sort of her story and what she walked through in that time of her life. This was the only Elizabeth Elliot book at my library, so I thought, well, as an introduction, I hear that she is very deep and very rich and very solid. But as an introduction to her, I thought I would start with this one. The next book in the biography category is Gifted Hands, the Ben Carson story. Now, I first came to know Ben Carson in his bid for the Republican nomination back in the 2016 election, and was just struck by his thoughtfulness, very struck by his intentionality, and the fact that he's not sensational in his presentation. I appreciate somebody who can connect with others without being so over the top and trying to drive their point so hard. So at that time, I started looking into his background and some of the things that he walked through, and was very impressed by his discipline and his tenacity. So I've been looking forward to this one for some time. Finally added it to my reading list. It says, Dr. Ben Carson is known around the world for breakthroughs in neurosurgery that have brought hope where hope never existed. In Gifted Hands, he tells his inspiring odyssey from his childhood in the inner cities of Detroit to his position as director of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins Medical Institute at the age of 33. I am definitely looking forward to this one. And the last book in the biography category is called In Order to Live, A North Korean Girl's Journey to Freedom. This is by Yomi Park. I had never heard of this book until recently. My husband was listening to a podcast, and this young woman was being interviewed. And just what he was sharing with me about her story and her escape from North Korea and her determination to come to America, and her insight into our cultural shift within the past probably 10 years, all of it, very much so. I'm looking forward to hearing about her journey. I think this is going to be a good one. In fact, if it is nearly as good as I'm thinking it is, I think this probably should be on everybody's to-read list. I will give you a deeper, more thoughtful review in the coming months. And then I figured if I was only going to have one fiction book on my list this season, it better be a good one. And so I grabbed an Amish Cookie Club Christmas by Sarah Price. I think this is number 2 in the series. It may be number 3. You guys know Amish fiction is my escape from reality when I'm dealing with heavy educational books. This is what I grab in the evenings when the kids are in bed and I want to wind down. This is just, like I said, it's just brain candy for me. It's easy. It's an escape. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. So I thought I would share with you one last category, and that is our read aloud category with the kids. I thought if I'm reading these books anyway, I am definitely going to take credit for the fact that I read them. So we try to do one read aloud every month, and this year I'm trying something a little bit different. I'm alternating a historical fiction that goes along with our story of the world, and then alternating it with just a fun read. And we are at our rotation now that in October we will be reading The Bronze Bow by Elizabeth George Spear. This comes highly recommended, and it's one that we've just never read before, so we are adding it to our ancient history rotation this year. Oh, I thought there was going to be a synopsis on the back, and there is not. Oh, here we go. After witnessing her father's crucifixion by Roman soldiers, Daniel Barjam is fired by a single passion to avenge his father's death by driving the Roman legions from the land of Israel. So I have never read it. I've heard it's amazing. We're going to add it to our read aloud this year. Moving into November, we're going to be reading Peter Nimble and His Fantastic Eyes. I don't remember anything about this book. I'm going to pick it up from the library this week, other than the fact that it was recommended by Sodbusterliving. I will link her channel down below. When I first heard of this book, I thought, oh, she's not going to like it. There's probably going to be a negative review. And then she ended up saying it was really good and their whole family loved it. So I added it to our list. In December, we're going to slightly break from our history rotation, history fun rotation of our read alouds. And in December, we do a family Christmas book advent, I guess you could say. I check out a ton of books from the library, I wrap them all up, and we read a picture book every evening that is related to Christmas. But in our morning time, I am going to grab The Greatest Christmas Pageant Ever and do that as a read aloud in our morning basket. And that will be a reread for us. I think this is the third or fourth Christmas that we are reading that one. I didn't think I was going to like it, especially the first couple of chapters in. I was really hesitant, but it ends up being phenomenal and comes together with a great moral and a great teaching, and really even struck me that I judged the book way too soon. So that's all the books on my fall reading list. I'm actually really looking forward to getting started. Like I said, I've already started the For the Children's Sake, and there are some great biographies in there that I'm anxious to read. At the end of the month, I will come back and I will let you know all the books that I read throughout the month, as well as the books we read with the kids and what we thought of them. So be looking forward to that one next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.